Here's the mix, and then I'll play the mastered versions. You see if you can pick which is which. All right, I just got the masters back from Abbey Road. If you've been following along in the previous video, I showed you how I submitted our track to Abbey Road for mastering. In this video, I'm going to play you the original mix of this song that we worked on 25 years ago. I wrote this song with the bass player in Framing Watson. It's called How Do You Do That? I'm going to play you the mix, and then I'm going to play you 3 mastered versions of this mix. One is the version I mastered using the Izotope Ozone 11 plugin in Logic. One is the Abbey Road master that we just got back the other day, and the other one is the song that I mastered using LANDR's AI Mastering, LANDR.com, LANDR.com, their AI mastering tool. So here is the mix. Here is one of the mastered versions. I'm not going to tell you which one.
My mind could not erase the memories of days with you.
Here's another one of the mastered versions. I'm not going to tell you which one it is.
And we got talking then. I'm saying all the dumb things. You're telling me you're in the...
And here's another one of the mastered versions. I'm not going to tell you which one it is.
How do you do that? How do you do that?
Now I'm just going to go between them. I'm going to play the mix, and then I'm going to play the mastered versions, and then I'll tell you which is which. And also look at the waveforms here in Logic, okay? Here's the mix, and then I'm going to go through the mastered versions in order on the screen, and then I'll tell you which is which. See if you can guess. One is me mastering this using Izotope Ozone 11 in Logic. I have no idea what I'm doing. One is me using the LANDR AI tool, which is free, cost a couple of $100 a year to get access to LANDR's platform. And one is me spending $200 to have it done by Jeff at Abbey Road. Here's the mix, and then I'll play the mastered versions. You see if you can pick which is which. All right. Woohoo! Well, no prize for guessing that. Drum roll. The first version here is the mastered attempt that I did with Izotope in Logic. First of all, let's just have a listen to the original mix here done by Adrian Hannon, who I spoke to the other day. I've reconnected with Adrian at Song Store in Melbourne. Here's the original mix that Adrian did. And what you might notice here is that it's quite quiet, this mix. But if I pop open the VU meter here, the VU meter plugin by Waves, you'll see that this mix is metering around about 0 dB. It's not going into the read here. Have a listen. I'll play one of the loudest parts of the song. So there's plenty of headroom here. This is what I've learned about mastering recently. I would mix everything so that it would just red line because I wanted it loud. And what I've learned is that when you're mixing, you should, first of all, turn your speakers up so you can hear the mix. But second of all, you should mix so that your VU meter is not bouncing into the red. And from all the research I've done, if you haven't got a physical VU meter plugged into your studio, this Waves VU meter plugin is the best software version of it. So have a look again. I'll play the loudest part of this song here. Have a look at the waveform here, right? Let me just see if I can shrink down the waveform. Here's the entire song. Here's the loudest part of the song here. Have a look at the waveform, right? And then have a look at what happens with the VU meters when I play the loudest part of the song. Now, Abbey Road also suggests that you leave them about 3 dB of headroom so that they can do their bloody job, which is using EQ and compression and imaging to bring the song to life and make it sound like it should be on the radio, or in 2025, like it should be on Spotify or Tidal, right? If you mix a song and it's in the red, they can't do anything with that. So, Adrian Hannon, great job on the compression here, because the whole song is pumping, but there's heaps of headroom. So here's what I attempted to do with it using Izotope.
How do you do that? How do you do that? How do you do that thing to me? How do you do that?
Now, it's pretty good. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not a mastering engineer. I used Izotope Ozone 11. They've got this AI thing that kind of listens to your track, makes some recommendations. They also have some presets that they use. I think I used CD Master because I'm old and I used to listen to music on the CD, the compact disc, right? One of these things. And they have another preset called Balanced Master, which I just kind of used. And I thought, wow, this is sounding great, sounding loud. Everything's sounding really good. The bottom end was a bit woofy and was kind of getting away from me a bit. I didn't really know how to fix that. So then I put it through LANDR AI LANDR AI Mastering tool. And so I'll go from the mix, then I'll play my version, and then I'll play LANDR's version, and you can hear the difference. And by the way, LANDR, you get unlimited mastering for, again, I think it's a couple of $100 a year, or maybe it's $300 a year. You get access to their entire platform, which includes unlimited mastering with their AI tool. And I have to say, it sounds freaking amazing. Check it out. Here's the mix.
How do you do that? How do you do that thing to me? How do you do that? How do you do that? How do you do that thing?
That's LANDR. That's AI. That took about 3 minutes for LANDR to master that, right? Now have a listen to what happens when you give it to a professional at Abbey Road. I'll do the mix, my version, LANDR, and then Abbey Road. Here we go. And I'll play the same section of the song. Here we go.
How do you do that? How do you do that thing to me? How do you do that? How do you do that? How do you do that thing to me? How do you do that?
The clarity and the bottom end, first of all, the bottom end is so tight and controlled and punchy, and the clarity in the top end has just completely blown me away. It's the level, it's like it's not that much louder than LANDR, right? It's way louder than what I did with Izotope because, again, I don't know what I'm doing. LANDR is pretty bloody good. Let me just go between LANDR and Abbey Road in this section of the song here. Here we go. LANDR.
You do that thing to me. How do you do that? How do you do that? How do you do that thing to me? How do you do that?
So the bottom end in the LANDR version is just, it's still a bit woofy. It's still kind of taking up too much space. Woofy is a very technical term that we use to describe what the bottom end does when it's not doing what we want it to do. By the way, just thought you should know that. It's in the music nerd dictionary, music glossary, which I'll be publishing at some point as an ebook. Anyway, the Abbey Road, Jeff Pesci, I think that's how you say his last name, far out. My word, what an amazing job. As you saw in the previous video, I uploaded the track into Abbey Road. Super easy to do. You pay, it's a couple of $100, you submit the track. They say, look, it could take anywhere from 2 to 7 days. I got lucky. This came back within about 18 hours, I had the track. And it just sounds like we're on the radio. Like I've been listening to this in the car. I've been listening to it on my AirPods. I've been listening to it on my phone. I've been listening to it here in the studio with the beautiful Mackie HR824 monitors. It just sounds like we're on the radio. It sounds incredible. I gave some feedback to Jeff and said, mate, no rounds of revisions here. Completely blown my mind at how good this sounds. When I first got the track back from Abbey Road, there were no notes, there was no communication from an engineer, there was just a notification from a generic email address that said, your track is ready, log into your portal and download it, which I did. And about 24 hours later, I got a note from Jeff saying, I'm glad you like it. Yep, we've talked about LANDR. We've had a chat about that with the team here. I still think that running audio through, these old hardware from the 70s with the transistors that we've got, I think makes a difference. Glad you're happy. Look forward to, more songs. And so the communication has been excellent. The whole experience of mastering at Abbey Road has been amazing. And the results speak for themselves. This just sounds freaking incredible. I've just got our second track back, Sugar Sweet, which I'll be showcasing soon. I cannot wait to release these on Spotify in the coming weeks. Let's just have a bit more of a listen to How Do You Do That, mastered by Jeff Pesci at Abbey Road. Let's have a listen to that drum fill on the original mix. Pretty good. Let's have a listen on the version that I mastered. Let's give a bit more runway here. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to set up a loop here in Logic to just play this. And I'm going to play the original mix, and then I'm going to go through each of the mastered versions just on this big drum fill, which, by the way, I think is hilarious. It's a great big moment in the song where there should be this great big drum fill, and our producer and our drummer worked it out. They just went, dun, 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 baka. Very Ringo Starr. Here we go. How do you do? How do you do? So good, so good. All right, How Do You Do That by Framing Watson, recorded 25 years ago, written by myself and our bass player Mitch, after we were lamenting how bloody good Waterloo is by ABBA, and how do you write a chorus like that? How do you do that? Well, that's how you get it mastered at Abbey Road, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, subscribe, like, share if you like what I'm doing here on the Music Nerd channel. I'm peeling back the curtain on what it looks like to write, record, produce, mix, master, and release music in the year 2025. We're going to be releasing these tracks very shortly over the coming weeks on Spotify. We are working on new material, which I'm very excited about, and I'll be sharing more of these behind the scenes videos. And on the Framing Watson YouTube channel, where there are even fewer viewers than here, we'll be putting up some videos about the band and putting up some more content over there. So I hope you're enjoying this as much as I am, clearly. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.